Chumash for Friday, page 54 in the Chayenu, Shishi, the sixth Aliyah. After the birth of Yitzchak, I'm just giving a daily synopsis. After the birth of Yitzchak, Avram concluded a treaty with the local Philistine king, and opened an inn in Beersheba, where he teaches wayfarers about monotheism. Let's see it inside. Verse 22, Chav Beis. It was at that time that Avimelech, Ufichol Sartzvay, and his army general Fichol. El Avram, they said to Avram, Lamar, the following: Elikim imcha b'chol asher ata. God is with you in everything that you do. Rashi. Elikim imcha. They said that because they saw that he left. Why'd they say all of a sudden? Avram has been around for a while. Avram's been having a following for decades. Why are they saying now, this juncture, that God is with you in everything you do? They said this because they saw he had left the locality of Sodom unharmed, right? He was living nearby, but nothing happened to him, and the other four cities blew up. He had fought the kings, and also another miracle they saw before that. He had, years earlier, waged war with the four mighty kings, and they had fallen into his hands, and he won against all odds. And his wife also, we just learned yesterday, had been blessed with a baby in his old age. So they see clearly this is a blessed man, and they want a piece of it. Chav Gimel. And Avimelech, the Philistine king, says to him, now swear to me, by God, that you will not deceive me, my son or my grandson. Make a treaty, you won't harm 3 generations. Like the kindness that I've done for you, you shall do for me. The kindness that I've done with you, Tasi Madi, do with me.
Yeah.
And do with me in the land in which you sojourned. Rashi, Chav Gimel. Aaron, if you see, there's like the Rashi, the gray.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. What does it mean, my son or my grandson? Why not forever? Because he says a human truism. What's the human truism? A truth of life. Ad kan rachem of alaben. That the mercy of a father on his son only goes as far as the grandson. You don't think great, like, they think that far ahead. Okay? Maybe it's different today. With longer lives. The degree of kindness that I've done for you, you shall do for me. That meaning, what was the kindness that what did this king do for Avram? So we know the story. After this king abducted his wife, sort of by mistake, and then returned her unscathed, he says, Avram, you could dwell anywhere in my land you'd like. It's all open before you. So that is a kindness. So merit that kindness, you make a promise you won't harm me, or your children won't harm me, or your grandchildren won't harm my people. Chav Daled, 24. Avram replied, I will swear. Chav Hey, 25, yeah.
You're talking about power, right?
We're talking about Avimelech. It was a Philistine king.
But still, he sees the Jews as being unbelievable.
Abraham Accords, the first Abraham Accords, right? The
Say
first
again?
one. This is the first Abraham Accords. You know what that is, right? The few Arab nations or Islamic nations made peace with Israel.
There were no Islamic people. Islam didn't exist for another
I didn't
1,000
say. I'm
years.
saying it's
No.
kind of like it, but earlier version.
God.
Okay. Chav Hey, Vaychiach Avram es Avimelech. Avram complained to Avimelech, Alidis V'Aramayim, about the water well, Asher Gozlo Avdi Avimelech, about the water well that the servants of Avimelech had seized. Hachiach, Rashi says this is what I call one of the Rashi genres, is unusual word alert Rashis, where he takes a word that's not a common biblical word, and therefore he translates it. He means, Vaychiach means, Vakach imealkach. Not that he reprimanded, rather he argued with him about it. Okay. Chaf Vav, verse 26. Abimelech says, I don't know who did this thing that stole your wells. Gam ata lehigatli, and you, Avram, did not tell me about it. So what could I do about it at that time? And I have never heard about this incident till today. Chav Zayin is verse 27. Avram took sheep, goats, and cattle, and gave them to Avimelech. And the two of them formed a treaty. Chav Zayin. Okay. Chav Ches. Avram then set aside 7 lambs of the flock by themselves. So, as we know earlier, we mentioned treaties were done when you took animals and you
Did something.
did something. I don't know exactly. I don't know what that something was. It always involved animals. Earlier, the treaty was you chopped them in half and you walked between them. I don't know if this is what happened here, but it took some animals to make, the treaty.
Consideration, right, to show that the world has changed and something has changed.
Right. And then Chavtes, Abimelech said to Avram, what are the 7 lambs? I'm sorry, I skipped Chavches, 28. So he took sheep, goats, cattle, and gave them. That's the treaty. He's giving a certain amount of animals.
Right.
Okay. That was the signing in triplicate for then of the treaty.
Consideration.
Okay. Chavches. Avram then set aside 7 lambs of the flock by themselves. So gave all this kind of animal gift, but now he's setting aside 7 other lambs. Chavtes. Avimelech then said to Avraham, what are these 7 lambs here you've set aside by themselves? Like scratching his head, scratching his crown, What's that all about? So Avram replies, verse 30, Lamed, Vayemer, Ki yesheva kfas tikach miodi, bavur tieli le'eda. Avram replied, you will take the 7 lambs for me in order to be my evidence, ki chafar tiseh said I dug this well. Bavur tieli, that this gift, this like bonus gift of the 7 lambs, will be an evidence that you agree. Eda is the feminine form, says Rashi, of edut, testimony. Eda matzeva. Ki chafartis berashi, I dug this well. Avimelech's shepherds were quarreling with Avram's shepherds about the well, saying we dug it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So they both decided to test. Call me Shisrael that whoever will appear by the well, Avimelech, master of those shepherds, Avram, master of the other shepherds, they go to the well and the water miraculously rises towards that person. That's the litmus test. And indeed, the waters rose towards Avram. You acknowledge the test we performed is conclusive, and you're accepting it, and you're taking these 7 lambs as a acceptance of that fact. Lamed Beis, Lamed Aleph, 31, verse 31. Al Kain Kol Lamakom Beersheva. That place is therefore called Beersheva, the well of swearing. Kisham Nishbushtem, for both of them made an oath there. So I think this is the first time we heard the term Beersheva, the well of the oath, because they made an oath about a well there.
They made 2 oaths. Well, I mean,
It was a treaty of, in general,
a treaty and,
non-aggression pact.
right.
And then the second one is about the well.
So the translation couldn't be that they made 2 oaths. It's got to be that the 2 of them made an oath.
Yeah,
Where do you see the well of the oath? Where is that written?
In verse 31, Lamed Aleph, page 56, where they translate Beersheva, the well of swearing. Well of swearing, well of oath.
Why not the well of the 7 lambs?
So that's a great question.
The same thing. It means both things, actually.
Exactly. I think there are commentaries that agree with what you're saying. It's not a contradiction. Rashi doesn't say anything, so I don't think it's a. I think it's more. Actually, you're showing that the 7 lambs is kind of a clue of the double meaning of the word Sheva, Shavua, 7 oath. So you're right. It's kind of, they're very much intertwined. The 7 lambs, which shares the root of Shavua, which is oath, because they made an oath. Now it explains why they gave 7 lambs. There you go. Okay. We figure bonus insights out along the way.
Yeah.
Surprises and adventures to come.
Torah.
Lamed Beis, 32. They formed a treaty in Beersheva. And Avimelech and Pichol, his army general, by Yeshuvu el Eretz Plishtim, they rose and returned to the land of the Plishtim. Lamed Beis no Rashi. They made the treaty and they went back to their country. And now we end off with the next 2 verses. What Avram do? What was Avram's next move? Vayita Esho Beersheva. Avram planted an orchard in this town, Beersheva. Vayikra Sham b'Shem Hashem Elolam. And he called there in the name of God, the God of the world. What does that mean, Rashi? Let's see Rashi. So first of all, Esho. What's Esho? It's not so simple. There's an argument in the Gemara about it. That what Rav and Shmuel, 2 great Talmudic sages, one translated the word Esho as pardes, as a orchard, to bring fruits to the guests. So it was this oasis, this for wayfarers, it was marked by a big orchard where you didn't just have bread and water, you got fruits also. Chad Omar, and one the other opinion says pundok. It means an inn lachsanya for lodging. Uvoy kol mini peris, which had all types of fruit. In other words, it's not arguing of it. It's the same thing. The question: what was the main feature? So was it the orchard, or was it that it was an inn with fruits? Anyways, the reason why do they argue? Each have a reason why they're picking this nuance of the word "esho" meaning inn or orchard. But if it means inn, like you could still say the verb of planting an inn, planting a hotel. Why? Because a hotel, you see the term a tent could be planted. It means pitched. The word for planting and pitched is the same verb. Anyways, next Rashi, Vayikra Sham V'Gemer, he called out there in the name of God, God of the world, as the world's God. But Rashi says, "Al yedei oisei eshel," it's all intertwined. He didn't just make a condo and then yell God. No, through this hotel, this inn, God's name was called or became known as the God of the universe for the whole world. Because the whole purpose of this inn was not just to take care of people, is to help them find the truth of monotheism, of one God. And what was Avram's, his MO, modus operandi? After they would eat and drink, he said to them, to the wayfarers, Baruch hu lami shachaltem mishaloi. Bless the one who gave you to eat.
Mention.
Svuramat mishmishli achaltem. You think you ate of my food? You think you ate from my food? You ate from the one who spoke and the world came into being.
So this is originator for mention.
Yeah.
Wow.
Originator for what?
For benching, for the after blessing. Early
Why
source.
no bracha before the meal?
Very good question. So in general, the only biblical time we say grace, we bless, is after we eat,
Sure.
particularly bread. All the blessings we do before, which are many before, those are actually rabbinically ordained as a thank you, as asking permission to partake. But the biblical concept is after the person is sated, then they say grace.
So how is,
That's exactly from the Torah. That's written
Right.
right in the Torah.
Right.
but how does this clause
Speak
involve
loud.
the origination of the, I mean,
He's saying just an example of someone benching. There wasn't a mitzvah benching.
okay, so it's just an example.
It's an example of that.
Originator. I like originator.
Pesach David has a thing called Originator. In his forthcoming book, Originator, he likes to find early precedents of things we do in its earliest source.
The beginning.
So I'm translating Pesach David lingo to you. Okay. Avram sojourned in the land of the Plishtim for many years. Rashi, long Rashi. He dwelt there for many years. Now that's a very open-ended thing. Many years, like 5, 10, 20, 100. So it says no, years that were many relative to his previous encampment in Hebron. In Hebron, he spent 25 years. And here, 26 years. So Rashi is deducing a very vague statement. He dwelt in a place for many years, and so it means 1 year more than his previous record. For how do you know this? If you do the timeline, he proves it now in the verses. Avram was in his 75th year when he left, right? His adventure begins, he's 75, he leaves Haran. In the same year, he settles in Mamre's plain in Elone, which is actually his same as Hebron. We do not find that he settled anywhere else beforehand, since in all other places he was on like a visitor, starting briefly and then continuing on traveling. As it says, Avram crossed into a land, he moved his tent from there. There was a famine, he went to Egypt, and he was only 3 months in Egypt for Pharaoh sent him away. Immediately after that, he retraces his route until he comes to settle in Mamre's plain, Elone, that is in Hebron, where he lived until Sodom was overturned. Immediately afterwards, Avram traveled away from there because he was ashamed of Lot's the incest that Lot did.
Right.
And then he came to the land of the Plishtim. He was then 99 years old, since the angels who announced, how do we know he was 99? Because they came at his circumcision. You know he's 99 at his circumcision.
Mm-hmm.
The angel of destruction on their route to destroy Sodom, he came to his 99th, birthday. Thus making altogether 25 years. If you do the math from 75 to 99, including 99, is 25. Here it's written many years in the next place, implying that he was here more than whatever his previous record was. And since the verse is the verse, when it says many years, it can't be ambiguous. 3, 10, 7, how many more years than 25? It must mean that it's telling us that it was only 1 year more. Because if it was more than that, 2 or 3, it would have been more clear. So it must mean that many years was not more than 1 year more than 25, making 26. Immediately afterwards, he leaves there and returns to Hebron, and that year was 12 years before the binding of Isaac. This is all detailed in a book called Seder Olam, which records a timeline of the Bible. Okay, so that